On the morning of July 24th, 2025, the world of sports entertainment suffered a devastating loss. Terry Bollea, known to millions across the globe as Hulk Hogan, passed away at the age of 71 due to cardiac arrest at his Clearwater, Florida residence. The news, first broken by TMZ, was met with disbelief, followed by an outpouring of grief and remembrance. Emergency services arrived at his home after a distress call reported he had collapsed in his bedroom. Paramedics attempted resuscitation and transported him to a nearby hospital, but tragically he was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The world had lost a legend, and an era had come to a close. The announcement quickly made headlines globally. WWE, the organization most associated with Hogan's rise to stardom, released an official statement expressing deep sorrow and commemorating his monumental contributions to professional wrestling. Within hours, tributes poured in from fellow wrestlers, actors, musicians, and millions of fans. Hashtags like #R, IP Hogan, and Hulkamania Forever trended across platforms. Icons such as Ric Flair, The Rock, John Cena, and Stone Cold Steve Austin shared emotional tributes. Even outside the wrestling sphere, names like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and Shaquille O'Neal honored him as a hero, a showman, and a deeply human figure who impacted multiple generations. To understand the grief behind the news, one must look back at the life that defined a global phenomenon. This is the story of the man behind the muscles, behind the bandana, and behind the roar of the crowd. The immortal Hulk Hogan. Humble beginnings, from Terry Bollea to Hulkamania. Born on August 11, 1953, in Augusta, Georgia, and raised in Tampa, Florida, Terry Bollea was not born into fame or fortune. His father, Pietro Bollea, was a construction worker of Italian descent, and his mother, Ruth, a homemaker of Scottish and French ancestry. He was a shy, quiet child, more into music than sports. In fact, before ever stepping into the ring, Terry dreamed of being a rock star. He played bass guitar in several Florida-based bands throughout the 1970s. He had long hair, a laid-back demeanor, and the charisma to lead. But music was not where destiny had marked his legacy. A chance encounter at a local gym changed everything. While performing at a club, Terry caught the attention of wrestlers Jack and Gerald Briscoe, who introduced him to legendary trainer Hiro Matsuda. Matsuda's style was brutal. On Terry's first day of training, his leg was intentionally broken, a harsh, almost ritualistic method of filtering out those who lacked commitment. But Terry didn't give up. He healed and came back stronger. His resilience impressed Matsuda, and soon Terry Bollea began wrestling under various monikers. It wasn't until a television appearance where he dwarfed Lou Ferrigno, the actor who played the Incredible Hulk, that promoters started calling him the Hulk. Paired with his growing size, bleach blonde mustache, and charisma, the persona of Hulk Hogan was born. By the late 1970s, he was working in New Japan Pro Wrestling and caught the eye of Vince McMahon Sr. in the WWF. The rise of Hulkamania, a cultural revolution. In 1984, Hulk Hogan defeated the Iron Sheik at Madison Square Garden, capturing the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. This victory ignited Hulkamania, a cultural wildfire that would blaze across America and the world. Hulkamania wasn't just a wrestling gimmick, it was a philosophy, a lifestyle, a movement. Hogan urged kids to train, say your prayers, and eat your vitamins. His persona exuded positivity, American patriotism, and indomitable willpower. He was the superhero for a generation growing up in the 80s, and his popularity catapulted WWE into mainstream popularity. His matches weren't just fights, they were moral battles. He faced off against villainous foreigners, monsters, and heels in front of massive crowds. Hogan's entrance theme, Real American, became an anthem. Kids dressed like him, fans carried signs, and millions watched his matches religiously. He headlined 8 consecutive WrestleManias, starred in movies like Suburban Commando and No Holds Barred, and hosted numerous TV shows. Merchandise sales exploded. Action figures, lunchboxes, t-shirts, even cereals bore his image. He became the face of WWE's golden age. His rivalries with Roddy Piper, Andre the Giant, and Macho Man Randy Savage became wrestling folklore. Hogan wasn't just selling tickets. He was creating stories, myths, legends, iconic matches that changed. Wrestling Hogan's in-ring career spanned nearly 4 decades, and in that time, he was part of some of the most iconic matches in wrestling history. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, Wrestlemania 3, 1987. With over 93,000 fans packed into the Pontiac Silverdome, Hogan did the unthinkable. He body-slammed the 520-pound Andre the Giant. It wasn't just a wrestling move, it was a moment of cultural magnitude. Time stood still. Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 6, 1990. Two fan-favorite heroes faced off in a rare title versus title match. Hogan passed the torch to Warrior in a hard-fought emotional battle, showing rare vulnerability in defeat and reinforcing his willingness to evolve the industry. Hogan versus The Rock, WrestleMania X8, 2002, generations collided. The crowd, expecting to boo the older Hogan, instead erupted in support. The match turned into a masterclass of storytelling, respect, and improvisation. Hogan turns heel, Bash at the Beach, 1996. Perhaps the most shocking moment in wrestling history. Hogan betrayed the fans and formed the New World Order, NWO, with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Fans threw garbage into the ring as Hogan cut a venomous promo. This heel turn rejuvenated his career and shifted wrestling's tone into a darker, edgier era. Personal struggles behind the curtain. Despite the glitz, Hogan's life was marked by very public personal challenges. His first marriage to Linda Claridge ended in 2007 amid allegations of infidelity and financial disputes. Their reality show, Hogan Knows Best, exposed deep rifts within the family. The most trying period came in 2007 to 2015. His son, Nick Bollea, was involved in a tragic car crash, critically injuring a friend. Hogan faced scrutiny as a father and public figure. Then came the infamous sex tape leak and racial remarks scandal in 2015. Hogan's career appeared over. He was scrubbed from WWE, his endorsements dropped. The man who once stood for virtue was now facing public disgrace. But he didn't disappear. He fought back, legally and emotionally. He sued Gawker for invasion of privacy and won a staggering $140 million, leading to the website's closure. Over time, he issued public apologies and was reinstated into WWE's Hall of Fame in 2018, a sign of slow redemption. Oh, millions, Hulk Hogan wasn't just a wrestler, he was a childhood hero. He represented strength, optimism, and the idea that good always triumphs over evil. His signature move, the leg drop, wasn't just a finisher, it was symbolic of the era he ruled. He inspired countless wrestlers. John Cena, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and even rivals like Stone Cold Steve Austin acknowledged the path Hogan paved. His influence is found in wrestling promos, ring psychology, and even wrestler physiques. Many adopted his aesthetic. Every time a crowd cheers for a comeback, does the U on point or hulks up, it's a piece of Hogan echoing through time. In the end, Hulk Hogan did what few could. He transcended wrestling. He gave fans unforgettable moments, taught us about perseverance, and reminded us that heroes can fall and rise again. As fans around the world mourn, they also celebrate. Because Hulk Hogan may have passed on, but Hulkamania will never die. If you've made it this far, thank you for honoring the life of one of wrestling's greatest legends. Hulk Hogan wasn't just a character. He was a symbol of strength, perseverance, and cultural impact. If this tribute moved you, consider liking this video, sharing it with others who love the Hulkster, and subscribing for more in-depth stories of the legends we grew up watching. Rest in power, Hulk Hogan. And to all of us who grew up with the red and yellow, remember, Hulkamania will live forever.